Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the IWC Radio podcast here on YouTube. Joining me, believe it or not, everybody is here today. Chuck, Beans, Will, how you guys doing?
Yeah, hello.
There it is. It's official. Oh! See, I'm jealous. I can't do that this week without cheating.
I can't.
I don't have one with me today, unfortunately. I need to get some drinks this upcoming week.
I've got.
Somebody got narcotics? What is that? Some pills?
What was that? Yeah. A tablet.
Of what?
What?
Gives you for the working man. They're good.
Why are you on tablets?
I have to take it now, so I'm probably going to choke. It's just a multivitamin. It's A to Z complete vitamins and minerals.
Vitamins.
Great.
With 23 nutrients to support all-round health.
Is that like a birthday gift or something, or?
Wow. I know that the birthdays get shitter as you get older, but good God, it's not got that
bad. I mean...
How old were you?
52, 3?
Wow.
Alright, Laura just knocked on the door, opened it. Obviously heard part of my conversation and went, "Are you taking Viagra?"
Again, she shouted.
You take Viagra again.
Was that a birthday gift?
Oh. I might have to leave the show early, guys.
Because the Viagra's kicking it.
It's kicking in there.
Mm-hmm.
We sponsored by Blue Chew now as well.
Oh, can we? That'd be great.
Wow.
That'd be great. Anyway,
but no, it's the only. The reason why I picked that up was because it was the only thing that I could see that had a lid.
It's not the only thing that's up.
Hey.
Bum.
Jacksonville.
Yeah, so not much has happened in this week's World of Wrestling stuff.
Apart from my sex life, apparently.
Apparently. So this is going to be like one of those shows where we just kind of wing it here and there, so I don't know if you guys have anything to lead off with at the moment.
We always wing it though.
That's true, yeah. I did see something just a moment ago that Braun Strowman has just declared himself that he's in the oh no, it's from last night's SmackDown. Never mind. I don't know why the WWE on Fox counts that late. Never mind. I thought that was like breaking news the way that they had the image there, but no. I forgot that he's putting himself into the Royal Rumble. He's the latest one that's announced himself in the Royal Rumble match, which apparently he could just do this year.
Yeah, he just gets to do it.
Like, everybody's been doing it. Like, they just announce themselves. I mean,
yeah.
Back in my day, you had to have a match or something.
It's been like that for a little while.
Has it?
Yeah, when was the last time we had... Like, we've never had a Rumble that's, everyone's had to qualify for. Like, 30 qualifying matches, you know what I mean?
You got about 3 qualifying matches, didn't you?
Yeah, for like the lower end, you might get Shelton Benjamin needing to qualify, kind of thing.
Yeah, but what about I remember the Royal Rumble Tumbler. We had to draw numbers and whatnot.
That's for people who are already in. We might still get that. They should do it roster wide, and the Tumbler has 30 numbers and loads of like X's or something for people who just don't make it. That's how it should be done.
Yeah, I'll be okay with that.
Yeah. So there's 19 announced so far, and it's everyone you expect, basically.
Right, on Raw,
10 from Raw, 10 from SmackDown, 10 from NXT.
If only.
Oh,
no, there's 11 from Raw so far.
Oh, right, okay.
And 8 from SmackDown. Yeah, 8.
Judging from what I saw on Raw when they had like the graphic in place and whatnot, like honestly, the only pick would have been Lesnar for me. Now
To go all the way?
Yeah, pretty much to go all the way. Now that Cain Velasquez has apparently announced himself from some European tribute, well not tribute, but the celebrating the move from Sky to BT Sport. Now that he's in the Rumble, I mean, one's got to wonder if he's going to be the one to take out Lesnar. And part of me is just like, no.
Yeah, no one wants to see that again.
I certainly don't.
No, I don't need to see it. But I think we were talking about it last week. I don't know what else they do.
Yeah.
CM Punk.
Yeah.
Who?
I think he's feuding with the Miz at the moment.
What, CM Punk?
Yeah.
Huh?
You didn't see the deleted tweet?
Yeah, I think we talked about it last week.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry,
weren't you
no.
here?
Oh. Yeah, did you listen to last week's show? Come on.
No, I didn't.
Oh.
I was busy trying to catch up with wrestling television. You know, that thing
all
that
the
they
other
create about, I don't know, about 200 hours a week.
Catching up on all the other stuff. I get you. Now, Miz was a guest on WWE Backstage, and he cut a promo after the show, and he kind of tongue-in-cheek made fun of the way, made fun of CM Punk's, like, culture change or whatever line when he showed up and debuted on the Fox episode. And CM Punk sent a tweet and then quickly deleted it saying, "Go suck a blood money covered dick, you absolute dork." So
I'm pretty sure the Miz didn't go to Saudi last time.
Yeah.
Wasn't he one of the few that was actually on SmackDown because he was still in the US?
I think so.
I think he was, yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Anyway. Never skip a chance to
is it
insult the Miz.
Because he was in the Best in the World tournament in the one prior?
Oh, he's still bitter. We're going to get Punk versus Shane McMahon.
Yeah, maybe. Where Punk's never going to get the upper hand. Much like the Miz.
Maybe they just become like a tag team and they're like co-besties.
What, Punk and Shane McMahon?
No, Punk and Miz.
Oh, God, no.
Shane can come back to feud with him because he thinks he's the best in the world.
If it was like Shane and Punk teaming up just to make sure that Miz doesn't win, then yeah, I'm all for that. Because that's pretty much what the first incarnation of the feud was. I'm not sure. Should we talk about Raw right out of the gate here? Just kind of like on it here a bit. I did not see the first 30 minutes of it. I was a little bit late, sorry. But apparently, we had Drew McIntyre defeating Randy Orton and AJ Styles in a triple threat match for whatever reason. I wasn't expecting McIntyre to be inserting himself into this feud between Orton and AJ, but there you go.
Was it face though?
Well, yeah, there you go. I guess that's the logic behind it. Hey, you're a good guy. Go beat up the bad guys that are hustling, you know? Ricochet then defeated Mojo Rawley, which I seems like I'm glad I missed. Seemed like enough of that.
All I can say is I watched BT Sports highlights of Raw, and I didn't know that happened. So that tells you how important that was.
Charlotte Flair defeated Sarah Logan after that. I think that's
Do you still hate Mojo, Beans?
Sorry, what?
Do you still hate Mojo?
I don't know, because I've not seen him.
Yeah.
He was rocking face paint for a while, and then he decided to drop
He
it.
was, sure, but...
Yeah, I've got to be honest, the ring attire, I don't know what the fuck he's thinking.
Also,
I mean,
last week...
it's it's one of them things where it's like, I'm presuming he's doing it because, you know, like how I said he's got bits that jiggle. Whether he's doing it to try and avoid the jiggle, but you probably better going down the route that people like Kevin Owens go with and, you know, wear a t-shirt.
Did you see last week where he caught up with Eric Rowan backstage and overacted the pet carrier, which by the way is
No, that wasn't on the highlights. Do you know, Will, when I said that I praised WWE for this highlights thing, I'm quite concerned how much they're fucking showing.
I don't think highlights are on for an hour, to be fair.
Let me see if I can find it here for you. Get your reaction to it live.
Oh, God.
I mean, obviously, we can't play the video because it's WWE content and they'll probably sue us or something.
Oh, how sad would it be that the show gets taken off the air because I've watched Mojo Rawley.
The ultimate irony.
Oh, Lord.
If I can find it here, hold on. This is riveting radio here. After that, while I'm looking through WWE's archive here, we then had 24/7 champion R-Truth confronting Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman.
I saw this. This was seen as a highlight.
Yeah, there you go. Where R-Truth thought that Paul Heyman was in the Royal Rumble match. And instead, he was not, and then decided he was not entering himself in the Royal Rumble. And then Lesnar F5'd him.
I was just happy to see Lesnar smiling because he actually did look like he was having a good time.
He seemed genuinely happy over that segment, you know?
I actually genuinely at one point thought he was just like gonna like leave laughing or shake his hand or something or just, I don't know, but just not attack him because he actually did look like he was enjoying it. And he almost looked quite sad, actually, after he gave him the F5 as he walked out.
Because the segment was over.
Did I have to do that? Damn it, Vince, you were funny.
Alright, here we go. I found the video. Here it is. Did not actually see it in the archive. I just searched for it.
Let me have a look.
Not sure why it's not showing up in the Skype call, but there you go.
I think I must have fast forwarded to this. I don't remember this.
Yeah, it's at 30. Let's say 33 seconds. If you want to take a gander.
Yeah.
Which by the way,
computer's just deciding to throw me a little.
Which, by the way, the pet carrier, I know Rowan's been cutting promos with it where he's like talking inside of the cage and whatnot. But if you happen to have seen for just a brief moment last week when during the jobber match that Rowan was in, like he lifted the potato sack off for like a split second, and the actual cage is literally just a cardboard box with a front door, with a front flap here even. You can show that. There it is. I don't know why. You've killed the gimmick, if you ask me. Like it's oh, that's just part of the steps on the bottom part. I thought that was like some little platform as well. But it's literally a cardboard box.
Oh my god.
I don't know. That looks like a wooden box. That's like a...
But where's the thing? Where's the great shield that he's like talking to the camera with?
Is it in the front there?
Yeah.
Next to the ring post, there's a darker part.
It looks like an old-fashioned rabbit hutch.
Yeah.
I've just watched the video and I'm just amused by the first comment.
Oh yeah.
Mojo looking at his win-loss record.
I mean, are you talking about like? Hold on, Chuck. So are you at the? Are you on the screen here? Are you talking about this part right here?
Let's see when you start drawing.
Yeah.
They're in a little delay, but
I
yeah,
hope-
probably that part.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're getting your
there's
highlighter
something
out.
in that.
I mean, that's just looks like it's part of the just part of the box. I don't know if there's like
Part
a
of the
little window.
wooden. Maybe, or maybe the great part is on the other side.
Oh, you mean like back here somewhere?
Yeah, like on the side that we can't see.
Yeah. I mean, I guess,
Maybe.
but why would you have a pet carrier with it's got like a butt flap on this side, and then like a metal door on the other, like back here? Like, that doesn't make any sense design wise.
Doesn't it?
Um,
I mean,
someone
you need a door to get
Well, yeah, but
Rambling
why would
Rabbit
you,
in there.
right? But why would a pet carrier have like 2 doors on it?
It wouldn't have a door. It just has like a mesh window.
Like
on
a
the side.
window,
Yeah.
Okay, but then what's the point of the little cardboard butt flap here?
To get the rabbit in.
But wouldn't like just the grate door just be sufficient enough?
Well, the grate wouldn't be a door. It's like a fixed window.
All right, moving on.
I'm gonna try and get you a picture of like a wooden rabbit hutch. Let's see.
yeah.
Someone put a comment underneath saying that it's probably got a sheep's head in it because of the old sheep
the
mask
mask.
thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But even so, I don't think anything in there should have resulted in Mojo's reaction.
His overreaction there, yeah. No, I agree. That I was like, that pretty much killed it. Like, whatever is in there is not going to live up to whatever the reveal's going to be. If you ask me.
And also, as well, like he looked into the handle, like down into it, and it's like it's got a cover over it. So unless there's a light inside the box, you're pretty much not going to be able to see fuck all.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't look exactly like that with a I don't know what that tiny horse is, but
Oh my god.
But you see the idea.
Is that a Shetland pony?
Yeah.
Is the pony for scale? Like.
Yeah, it's actually huge.
It's a goddamn house.
It's a 15-foot silt.
That's the strangest picture I've ever seen.
That really is, yeah.
You're going to be so fucking loving it when that cover finally comes off and there's a fucking horse inside that box.
Oh god, is that the same thing?
That was cool.
I don't know. If I could throw up the yeah, there it is. There's the other image. Yeah, that does not look anywhere like the pony house image that you linked there, Chucks. I'm sorry. Oh, you linked another one. Let's see. This is another for scale. No. Yeah, move this over.
So it's obviously not that shape, but you see the idea. There's a wooden door on one side and then like a mesh on the side.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Because like I don't know, I'm thinking maybe something like along the lines of like arguably okay. So you got your front door butt flap here. Okay.
Yeah.
Can I just put a request in that you stop calling it a butt flap?
That's what it seems like. Because where's he cutting the promo from? Where, like all those leaks
From the side. That's the end.
Okay, so
that's
the
middle
short
bit.
end.
Okay, so you have okay, so the butt flap is here, and then there's like where we can't see. There's like a grated door behind it, right?
Not a grated door, a grated window.
Okay, all right, I get that. And
So
then,
like so that door is on the short side, and then on the long side, maybe on both long sides, there's mesh windows where you could look in and reassure your pet that the vet isn't so bad.
right. So you have like so you have like a window up on the top. Right,
Yeah, top
right
on the
here.
side, yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Somewhere around there.
That's kind of what you're talking about, but it's not.
Oh, God.
That rabbit looks dead, by the way.
Why are all of these pet carrier pictures so weird?
I do not know.
So basically, Will's managed to actually just like
Looks like
get a look at Eric Rowan's actual.
Yeah,
That's what's in it. That's it. That's a live show.
it's a stuffed rabbit inside of Rowan's cage here.
How slow a news week is this?
Oh God. Well,
I mean, we're picking apart a pet carrier and whether or not it's consistent with the promos over the several course of weeks. I mean, that's how slow.
I believe it is.
Yeah. I don't know. I think whatever's inside and the pet carrier is not going to live up to the hype.
It's a horrible idea. Nothing good's gonna come of it.
No,
It probably won't ever even show you. It'll probably be like a gimmick that's just dropped.
Probably.
Yeah.
Same as Sami Zayn being Mojo's manager. See, you've all forgot already.
I cannot remember that.
Vaguely remember.
He came out and said he had a dual contract for Raw and SmackDown to be the manager of Mojo Rawley. And then Kevin Owens beat him up, and then that were it. It was never mentioned ever again.
Out of him. He beat the ever-loving contract out of him. Wow. Yeah, I do not remember that. There's also something along the lines.
A couple of weeks ago.
I don't remember.
I guess he just doesn't want to be a manager anymore. I don't blame him.
Yeah. Also, by the way, Mojo Rawley became 24/7 champion after that R-Truth promo. After he took the F5, because a lot of people were upset that Brock didn't cover him for the 24/7 title, because who would beat him for it? And then
He should have done that.
Yeah,
I guess he just doesn't want all of those nerds chasing him everywhere. He hates people, right? He wants to be left alone.
Oh, I guess that's what, that's true. Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't even think about that.
The last thing he wants is to go home to Saskatchewan or whatever on his ranch and then find the Bollywood boys chasing him around.
If that was anyone but Brock Lesnar, you know for a fact that they would have done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we had Bobby Lashley defeating Rusev with Lana and Liv Morgan on the outside, slightly tussling as well. Lana threw a drink, looked like a Pepsi, in Liv's face, and that was enough for Rusev to be distracted. I think it was a fluke roll-up, 1, 2, 3. Bobby Lashley wins the match. Although now there's a few subtle signs. It does seem like Lashley's getting tired of Lana's antics.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, aren't we all? So now it seems like possibly I could see him divorcing Lana and then teaming up with Rusev and being like, well, wives can't live with them, right? That sort of thing.
All right, Jerry Lawler.
After that, we had Raw Tag Team Champions Viking Raiders and the Singh Brothers with an open challenge. This
wasn't anything I saw.
We're going to start asking whether or not you saw this on the recap package or not. Apparently, they just cut out all the filler for you.
It's ridiculous. It was literally the Randy Orton, AJ, and Drew McIntyre match. Yeah. It was Brock Lesnar, R-Truth.
Lashley.
It was Rusev. Bobby Lashley, Rusev, and then I think it was the fist fight thing.
Oh, so in that case, you didn't see Becky Lynch and Asuka signing a contract for their.
Oh God, yeah. Sorry, I did. Yeah.
Okay. That was pretty good. I like the Asuka should have spat in Lawler's face for all the condescending remarks he's ever made over the years. But they signed the contract. Asuka gave the poison mist to Becky there, and then Becky cut a hell of a promo afterwards while she was trying to get her eyes flushed. And
she was great.
Yeah, that was the best part.
Becky was really good.
Yeah,
she actually sold the spray, unlike Charlotte.
Charlotte didn't even.
Charlotte was sitting on. Oh, I can't see.
Pulled the hair behind. Pulled the hair back so it didn't get into her
yeah, right.
Hair and just
ow. Becky sold it great, and then did a hell of a promo too.
Yeah.
First time in ages, I thought, wow, that was actually really good.
Yeah. And then was this on the recap where Aleister Black defeated Buddy Murphy? Beans
Again.
I think they showed they call it like Slam of the Week, instead of it being like last week.
Oh my god!
It was John Cena.
It actually said in the corner. It said earlier tonight.
Wow!
So it was the highlight thing from the highlight.
How long are the highlights on for?
I think it's 45 minutes.
Oh well.
Yeah, they
do show the matches in full, but it looks like they do anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Aleister Black defeated Buddy Murphy to where Buddy Murphy retreated to the outside, leaned up against the barricade, and didn't want to talk to anybody. Didn't want to talk to Charlie Caruso or anything like that.
How long a gap was there between this match and then the main event? Because the way that they did it on the highlights thing, it made it look like Buddy Murphy had been sat outside the ring for like 2 hours.
It seemed like
it wasn't that long.
Yeah, because
it wasn't long, no.
Then we had Eric Rowan defeating a local local jobber. They didn't even give him a name on the sheet here, but yeah, during that match they cut to Buddy just looking onward while Eric Rowan was destroying this guy that apparently had no name, and then he was still there during the main event, which was the fist fight match with Seth Rollins and AOP defeating Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe, and Big Show. Which, a few things are about this one that kind of irked me the wrong way. The rules for this one were pretty much anything goes. The only way the match could be decisive is if referee's discretion. So it's pretty much a Hell in a Cell match without the cell. No pinfall, no submission. You win whether or not the ref declares you unable to compete. It's Hell in a Cell without the cell.
Well, no, because you can win a Hell in a Cell by pin and submission.
No, not in the past 2 years. The main event of the Hell in a Cell has ended under fluky circumstances by the referee's stoppage.
Yeah, well, that's
it's Hell in a Cell without the cell. That's my point.
I think also that it could have done without the little graphic when they were advertising it. It said fist fight that looked like it was out of a comic.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm going to try to pull that up here.
Because it was like, if it's supposed to be this like massive blood feud kind of thing, and fist fight, they're going to beat the shit out of each other until they literally can't like do anything, and a referee has to stop it, then that sounds pretty brutal. So, don't make it look like it's a cartoon.
Yeah, here. This was this was last week's picture here of what you're talking about. This was like advertised near the end of the show, where they couldn't even fit Big Show in on time. And then after that, this is where they updated it with the actual the graphic that you're talking about, Beans, right here, with Big Show added in.
Oh, for God's sake. It
Also,
just looks like it's sponsored by something.
Right, yeah, like some mobile game.
Yeah.
WWE Fist Fight.
Brought to you by the Beano.
Yeah, also, 0 fists thrown, apparently.
Really? Not even Big Show?
Nobody threw a punch. Yeah, no. Not even fisting or anything like that.
Why the hell's Big Show come back?
Why has Kane come back?
Well, I heard that as well, but I'm not seeing it.
Is it because it's the Rumble and you need big guys to ask how are you going to eliminate someone the size of the Big Show?
Exactly, yeah.
You gotta win. He's 7'8" and 750 pounds. He gets clotheslined over the top rope by Shorty G.
Also, a sidebar here, completely unrelated, but the write-up for Raw apparently is done by somebody on the WWE.com staff is using an avatar of Walter from NXT UK. Just like to throw that out there. Way to go, Anthony. Yeah, so that was Raw this week. I guess they're trying to do something to kind of compete with the College Bowl championship game over here, I think. And Raw's barely doing like around 2 million viewers. So I don't know if that's something to be alarmed by. I don't know. It just seemed like a throwaway match to have. Hey, let's have the same 6 people from last week's show be on this week's show. Only that there's no real rhyme or reason of rules or of a rematch or any of that shenanigans, you know?
It's just very strange that it's just, you feel like a stuck record with it, don't you? Because it's just,
yeah.
Why did they not realise how boring it is?
So that's a Vince.
Yeah. It's been 15 years. How do they not realise how boring
How can Vince sit there with a headset on in the back, watch that, and think that he's directing something good?
Because he's directing, not watching. I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you.
Just find it bizarre. Especially when you know that they're capable of doing so much more when you look at NXT.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. When it's night and day. And the thing is with NXT being on USA now, like they're getting trounced by AEW in the ratings.
I have got problems with AEW as well, though.
Oh, same here. Which we'll get into that in just a few moments, I think, here. But
I don't think they care that they're getting trounced by AEW though, because they're still taking 500,000 to 700,000 viewers.
Yeah.
That otherwise would probably be watching AEW. So it's not really about winning; it's just about putting a dent in their numbers. It's
about existing.
Yeah, it really is. It's just counter programming. It really doesn't matter what happens.
Yeah. You're absolutely right by that. Yeah, 100%. On SmackDown, Bryan and Kane reunited to combat with the Fiend. I didn't see. This is another one where I didn't catch like the first 30 minutes of the show.
I just flew through it as we were getting ready for the show. Kane shows up for some reason, and he just talks about loving the Rumble and crushing dreams by eliminating people. You know, doing the Kane thing, talking in the Kane voice. Then
did he have his synthesizer back?
No. Doing the more recent Kane voice, his real voice.
Sorry.
No voice box, unfortunately. That would have been cool, though.
Glory days.
Too cool. Bray Wyatt does a Funhouse thing. Talks about Kane a bit. They flash some old clips of their feud from years ago. Didn't need to be reminded of that. Then the Fiend shows up, comes out from under the ring. Kane distracts him. Bryan hits a knee. Fiend escapes. Bryan grabs some of his hair.
Yeah. And then
that was that one.
And he does the yes chant, and apparently in the background there's somebody with a sign that says, "I love Steve Harvey."
I love Steve Harvey.
I mean, fair enough, but like, all right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, that was the opening segment to the show. So does it seem like? Which, by the way, their match now at the Rumble is a strap match.
Yeah.
I don't know how that became a thing. I need a little.
Ryan just said it.
Brian and the Fiend are having a strap match.
Oh, for God's sake.
So, cool, I guess? Doesn't make any
No.
sense.
Shocking.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so that's happened. After that, it was John Morrison defeating Big E of the New Day. His first match back in WWE since God knows how long. I probably would have broke out the stat sheet on that one. But he got the win on Big E, which, by the way, look at this shot here of on the .com here. Get a look at this. What a photo. Whoops, hold on. That's that goes out of this. Hold on. Then you Ryan kind of. There we go. There we are. What an expression from Big E there, getting the pancakes knocked out of him.
I love Big E. Big E's been great.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
This new gimmick of like trying to say some subtle like innuendo or whatever in his promo, not even that subtle. It's my favorite thing. When he came on a couple of weeks ago and said that on New Year he watched the balls drop. Kofi said, "There's one ball. There's one ball."
After that, we had Usos defeating the Revival, which is where I kind of caught the tail end of. Yeah, it seems like the Revival getting the short end of the stick again. After didn't they just like sign it like a renewal or something, like a contract extension or something like that? And now they're back to just being like, oh, this is a tag team on the show that kind of gets beat every single time. Or am I just hallucinating that?
Wasn't that a while ago when they signed new contracts?
Well, relatively. Relatively. Maybe it was like a couple months ago or something like that. I don't know. All right. Well, okay. Moving on.
Sorry. Revival, it seems to be like part of the gimmick now, where it's just like we come out, say how good we are, we get mocked for it because we never win, and then we lose another match. And it's just, I don't know what it's building towards.
Nothing.
Well, yeah.
They won't resign. They're going, and I guess they don't want to just let them go, so they got to embarrass them. That's basically it.
Yeah. You got to put over the talent on the way out, After that, it was Lacey Evans. Lacey Evans defeating Bayley with the women's right. My main takeaway was like, I'm glad that they're actually booking Lacey Evans as like an actual likable person who used to fight for the military, as opposed to a floozy to Seth Rollins trying to get at Becky Lynch for the championship there, So, let's see. Braun Strowman cleared the ring of Shinsuke Nakamura, Cesaro, and Sami Zayn. This is where I think Elias came out and he was getting ready to play something for the crowd, and then was interrupted.
Yeah.
By the said trio.
That happened.
Alexa Bliss defeated Sonya Deville. This was strange. Sonya wanted Otis at ringside for some reason. And Mandy was like, okay. So they get Otis down at ringside. He's kind of lingering about. Mandy's trying to interfere. She gets up onto the bottom turnbuckle trying to distract the ref or whatever it was. She gets knocked off the apron and falls into the arms of Otis. And Sonya's like, yo, what's happening here? What's happening? Gets distracted, and then Alexa picks up the win. So, not sure any thoughts on that one at all. But it seemed like Sonya was trying to get to Otis before Mandy or something. I don't understand. And it's like, creative should know that she's a lesbian, and you know, it seems like they're trying to book her as not a lesbian. is the main takeaway there, I thought.
Well, she is as a shoot, but is she playing a lesbian as well? Is Sonya Deville a lesbian, or is she? Is the character straight?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Would WWE be warped enough to have a lesbian play a straight person? Actually, yeah, they probably would.
They would.
Is that warped? They've got Liv Morgan playing a lesbian.
Well,
fair enough.
Sure.
And then the main event, Roman Reigns defeating Robert Roode in a tables match. Cool, I guess. Corbin came down, tried to provide a distraction. Ziggler hit Reigns with a super kick at one point. Yeah, okay. Reigns won. Big whoop.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty much my thing. Could we end this feud already, please? That's my main takeaway on that one.
I just don't get the Baron Corbin thing. I know that they go on about, you know, he's a character that's got heat, but is it really is it good heat? I mean, I know it's not necessarily X-Pac heat, but no one cares.
Yeah, no one cares. What MJF is doing is like heat and somebody being a good heel, I guess, to some people's eyes. Exactly, Kat. Thank you for agreeing. Yeah, see, he's agreeing with me here. I think MJF is probably the best heel in the game right now, but and Baron Corbin, and speaking of, he apparently was not a fan of AEW this past Wednesday.
No shit.
Yeah, because he threw out a tweet, what was it here? Just basically mocking how AEW just does a bunch of high spots, dives, and all this other stupid shit here, yeah. And then, here, let me throw it up.
Well, it might be controversial, but I have a little bit of an issue with MJF as well.
Really?
What
would that be?
And he's got a little bit of the Dolph Ziggler syndrome to me. He shouts a lot in the promos. And I don't know. I know that he's a character that's supposed to grate you a little bit, and he is very good on the mic, but there is elements of it where I was just like, it's a bit. He's talking a bit too fast, and he's shouting a little bit too much, and I don't know. I did get turned off from it a little bit. I mean, I still appreciate that he's miles ahead of most.
Yeah, he's an asshole to the extreme. It's great.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think they could be. I suppose it's just a little bit like fine tuning kind of thing. Which again, you know, he's a young guy as well, so he's only going to get better. So yeah, I think it is being a little bit picky, but there we go.
Yeah, this tweet that Corbin sent out during this past week's Dynamite was winner gets a title shot, so forget covers, everybody gets pops, spot, dive, spot, dive, spot, dive, group spot, dive, get your shit in, neckbeards, this is awesome. I was paraphrasing a little bit, but yeah.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong, but at the same time,
it's a different thing.
Corbin's in a program where he had to pour dog food on somebody that nobody wanted to nobody wants to see that. Come on.
I do agree with him with the spot stuff, and
he's got a point. He's got a point with that.
I know I've whinged about it many times on here before, but it's just like every match that AEW puts on, the people that argued about the choreographed wrestling will not enjoy the show, I don't think, because there's far too much that happens in matches that should end matches and don't.
Yeah.
And then shit that does end matches is pretty poor most times.
Like a Canadian Destroyer at one point was like a pretty good finisher for a match. Now it's like it gets a 2 count every time you see it.
Yeah, and how many fucking Canadian Destroyers can you do on one episode of fucking AEW?
How many?
And then
dives?
WWE did one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio did one the other week, and I was like, no, stop it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, it was the same thing with like the Kenny Omega and the John Moxley thing when it was the street fight, and I just didn't. I just find them kinds of things. I don't. There's no proper build to it. There's not a story to justify them stipulations, and then when they're in matches and killing each other legitimately, I mean, half the shit that they're doing must be knocking years off their careers, and I just, yeah.
I mean, those mouse traps to Omega. I don't know.
Can I be controversial and say that I'm not sure I actually like Kenny Omega?
Oh no, you can say that. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but I don't see what's so great about him in the ring. Honestly.
I mean, I've heard him in many interviews, and he's a proper student of wrestling, and yeah. I appreciate his ability and skill, but again, it's small things that you pick up on that can really annoy you, but there's so much theatrics with everything that he does that it goes out of that realism edge. Do you know what I mean? Like, everything that he does, he has to run to one rope before he does it, and he has to flick his fingers out before he runs, like as if he's charging up and things. And
that's something Jim Cornette's heavily critical about with Kenny Omega. In fact, he calls him Kenny Olivier, like Lawrence of Olivier or whatever. Basically,
yeah,
because of all the theatrics that he does and all that shenanigans that he puts on. And honestly, ever since he pointed that out, I'm like, yeah, Cornette's not wrong. Like, he does all this like crazy shit. Like he hits a move and he goes like halfway up the ramp, just like looking around and prancing and such.
Yeah, and I have the same kind of problems with the Young Bucks as well. I mean, I know the whole thing of Super Kick Party, but good God, they have killed the Super Kick.
I don't know about the Super Kick thing.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you're right, there's a hell of a lot of Super Kicks, and it used to be a big deal when Shawn Michaels did it, and they didn't let anyone else do it.
Right.
You know, Rikishi did it, and Booker did it, until Shawn came back, and then they had to drop it because it was his thing. And now, obviously, everyone does a load of Super Kicks. Carmella does a load of Super Kicks, and it's not the same thing. That's
Kevin
true.
Owens.
Kevin Owens does them. The Usos do them. Everyone does them.
But arguably, like... Go ahead, sorry.
I was thinking about that this week, watching the Young Bucks do them over and over and over. I just thought, well, maybe if that's a thing that they can do, then that's what they would do. If you're in a fight and you don't have great punches, but you can kick a lot, you would do a lot of kicks.
Sure. Yeah, I could understand that, but I think it kind of goes in with the whole package of the Young Bucks where, again, it's this, everything's about theatrical offense, and it's like half of the stuff that you would do, nobody would do. And I know that's wrestling. I do know that's
you do the stuff that no one else can do. If there's something that you can do and no one else can do, that's your signature thing.
But I just think that they overdo it in every match, and I could understand if it was done in the pay-per-view matches or in big feud matches or a big show, but week in, week out, they're diluting everything that they do.
I definitely agree with that. That's a big thing with AEW. They don't do a lot of pay-per-views, so it's kind of difficult to save stuff for whatever it'll be 4 times a year. But a lot of their TV is long matches. And so when it comes around to pay-per-view time, there's not really anything special. It's just more of the same. Whereas if TV had maybe one long match for the main event and then a few shorter things among the promos and whatever, then you have like the match-heavy pay-per-views. It might stand out as something that's what you're paying for. But yeah, you're right. They're doing a lot of in-ring stuff. It doesn't feel any different than the big matches.
No, and the thing is if you ask for like memorable moments from AEW so far, you're going to say Chris Jericho's promos, and you're going to say that promo that Cody did and him headbutting a ramp and smashing his head open.
I would say, well, that's a little unfair. I would say, the Cody ramp thing would probably be in that. I would say the Cody ramp spot, Kenny Omega dressing up as Sans from Undertale. Oh, it's okay, guys. It's Halloween. We can dress up as video game characters. It's fine. The fact that they put a championship on a 98-pound woman. And probably...
That's the most memorable?
Yeah, because apparently they're trying to make her into like this next big star, and it's not... It's not going well.
It's really not working.
Yeah. Oh, and the Dark Order still being a thing.
So all of that you've said, and none of it is in-ring action.
Which is ironic because, they do all these like crazy over-the-top moves.
Exactly, because it's a given. You watch it and you just think, and another 6 months to 12 months of it, and it's going to be just the same formulaic stuff that we see with WWE. Because we can argue that WWE's in-ring product has never been better, but the stories that go with it that draw you into it are not there.
Yeah, there's also Dustin Rhodes trying to do the Shattered Dreams to somebody. I think it was Sammy Guevara. And the ref
not being allowed to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think AEW really needs to work more on the character side, because they've got a talented roster. The in-ring obviously is there. I just think it needs to be managed a little bit, because the good thing about AEW is there's a lot of styles in there, and people work to their strengths, but also I do think that they need to have that more slow, methodical matches in there. I mean, I know they've got Jericho, and Jericho's obviously limited on how much he can do, but when you think to the Cody Rhodes and Jericho match, obviously that was not, Canadian destroyers every 3 seconds and super kicks, and I think it was a lot better for it because it felt more intense. It might not have technically been more of a visual spectacle in that essence, but I was more invested in it. And things like, there's a lot of people that are watching AEW that obviously haven't followed all the Elite thing and all the work in New Japan and Bullet Club stuff, and I don't know who Kenny Omega is, apart from someone that likes to do a Terminator impression before he jumps out the ring.
Yeah, and even like his Tonytron just has like some stock roll footage, and then it cuts to him just walking the streets of Japan.
That's what I mean, and it's like,
yeah.
Obviously, I'm putting pieces together from bits I know of his past, but it would be good, especially when you consider some of the stuff that they've done. Like, vignette stuff backstage where people are talking to a camera and it's all filmed very nicely. So that they've got production of being able to do something. I mean, when they did the Cody Rhodes vignette in the build-up to Jericho, the one what Jericho did the piss take on. But the quality of that video in building the story was brilliant. And what's the harm in doing that for each of your new superstars, because you're a new brand, right, every week or every other week, and people will gravitate towards them. But instead you've got this bizarre thing like with the New Order Dark Order, sorry. And yeah.
These complaints sound very familiar. This is what we've been... I mean, obviously you've been listening to the show since...
Sorry, I'm repeating everything that everyone said previous week.
No, it's kind of funny that you are, because it shows that This is obviously a thing. It's not just us being hypercritical.
Right.
I've said exactly the same things, that you don't know who anyone is. It's great that they've got more freedom than the WWE guys have, because everyone's got their own little things that they can do. But too many of the guys have very similar, that all-out, fast-paced, no-selling style.
Yeah.
It's fine if one guy or one tag team does that, if that's the Lucha Brothers thing or that's the Young Bucks thing. But when everyone's doing it, it just gets lost. When they do other stuff, it tends to be great. So can't we have a bit more of it? And like Vince Russo keeps saying, it's like there's no adult in the room saying no. He says they need a guy. They need someone in that Vince role to say, we've got that going on somewhere else. So maybe think of something else for this week. Last week on Dynamite, they had 3 segments throughout the show with some kind of heel faction trying to recruit someone.
Oh, yeah.
Who then turns them down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 times throughout the show. That surely there's got to be someone who says, we've actually got one of them. Do that next week. Or that segment where there was it the 6-man with Cody? Cody Rhodes had a match. I think it was a 6-man with... Was he in the 6-man, or was that a different one?
I think it was a different one.
Oh, man, I'm getting my shows mixed up.
Hold on.
Cody Rhodes had a match anyway. And then he was taken out. The next segment was MJF coming out, calling Cody out, and there was no Cody. Goldust came out.
Yeah.
QT Marshall came out, but no Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
Surely someone has to look through the thing and go, ooh, maybe we should spread these out a bit and maybe say that Cody's gone home for some reason. There's little things.
He's in the showers.
Yeah, he's in the shower. He's just had a match. He's not next to a monitor.
Yeah.
So, something like that. There's a lot of little things that just don't really feel right about it. And maybe they need a continuity editor or someone with a bit more seniority who can say, I appreciate that you want to do some stuff, but maybe this isn't the right time for it.
Yeah, it seems like a, I don't want to say fact-checking, but somebody just, overlooking the run sheet of the show and just being like, okay, you gotta swap this for this because you're already doing this in segment so-and-so, I definitely agree with that. And
I think way too often they're rushing through stuff.
Yeah.
We said it with their last pay-per-view, the Cody title match stipulation came out of nowhere. That's not a first match thing. He's never going to challenge for the world title again on the first time. It's too soon. There was another one there. Oh, it was the Moxley and Omega hardcore. That's too soon. And just, I don't know, all throughout, it seems like, man, that's 3 months of program that you've just blown through there.
Yeah.
It seems like that's their thing. They want to just give more and more and more away, which is kind of cool. It's a good problem to have, I guess. They've got all these ideas they want to do, but it's like they need someone like JR to say, "Come on now, you could get more out of this."
Yeah, I definitely agree that they just need somebody there to kind of put their foot down on certain things and whatnot.
Yeah.
Speaking of Dynamite,
go
ahead. Sorry.
I'm just saying, it's not what they're doing is bad. It's that they could get so much more out of it if they just let it all go a bit. If they paced it better.
Yeah. Also, if they would actually emphasize on stuff that would happen during the break on the side-by-sides. As opposed
that too.
Instead of just
recaps.
Yeah, instead of just pretending it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Is there anything from this week's show of the Bash at the Beach, which apparently WWE, there's a rumor WWE might sue them over for that name or branding, I guess.
Can they? I thought they got the copyright for it.
Yeah, I thought Cody got the copyright because they gave that one up because they didn't use it. Hence the reason why they keep doing them Starcades.
Yeah, they gave a bunch of them away, and I think Cody bought a few of like the old WCW ones. I think they bought Greed or Sin or something like that as well. You know, can't imagine they'll ever use it, but they got it.
Dave Meltzer noted on the Wrestling Observer Radio that the Elite gave a speech to the crowd after the dark tapings in Miami, and there was a comment made about them getting in a legal battle for using the Bash at the Beach name for this week's show. No word if WWE has actually filed a lawsuit or if they're just calling AEW's bluff, but it's worth noting that Cody Rhodes registered the Bash at the Beach trademark last year, and
there you go.
And has registered other former WCW pay-per-view names that were created by his father, Dusty Rhodes. Interesting. So there you go, yeah.
But not his name. Why is he not allowed his name?
Yeah. Yeah. That's probably nothing. If he got the trademark last year, then that's not an issue.
What does Cody Rhodes' entrance say when when he does his entrance and he does
the American Nightmare?
Yeah, it just says Cody.
No, like it has a bit of the does the reveal music, and then before it goes into the actual song, it's got Cody saying something about family.
Yeah.
But I can never hear what it is.
I don't know.
I'm gonna have to look this up.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like I just hear something.
So there's something like this isn't the only wrestling family or something. Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. That sounds right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Is there anything from this? Well, you haven't seen this week's Bash at the Beach Dynamite themed show. I was going to ask you if there's anything you want to talk about.
No, I'm gonna say I've only seen the very start of it and noticed Justin Roberts in a white shirt.
Yeah, that was great. I think Dynamite was another show I was kind of late on for some reason. I did miss the opening match, but from there on out, I was pretty much with it. There was nothing abhorrently awful from this week as opposed to the week before, where it was like a clusterfuck, where Chris Statlander was distracted on the outside, and then they had fucking Billy Corgan, Japanese deathmatch star Billy Corgan, come out and be a part of, basically be the hinted bald guy that they were teasing for a while. And then Riho somehow retains the championship to some bullshit and whatnot. And it was a clusterfuck. So that was that. And this week's Dynamite coming up on this Wednesday, going to be from the Jericho Cruise, which should be quite interesting, if you ask me. I'm not sure if it's I assume it's going to be taped. They said it's going to be live, but I think it's going to be taped. Would actually be incredible if they can do a live show on the cruise ship in the middle of the seas, in the Bahamas somewhere. No,
they've said they're going to tape it. I think it's on the Tuesday because it's just unreliable. They might be able to do it, but it wouldn't be, there's going to be problems.
Yeah.
They're just going to do it on the Tuesday.
Play it safe. I don't blame them. Anything you want to add, Chucks? I know you were looking for something, but was there anything you wanted to bring up on this week's Dynamite?
Not really. Just finding that Cody's entrance says wrestling has more than one royal family. That was to answer Beans' question there.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes sense. Yet another jab at the McMahons.
I guess so. Yeah.
His favorite thing to do.
Well, there you go. That was pretty much this week's shows. Not sure if there's anything else you guys would like to mention. Unfortunately, Impact Wrestling. I would be remiss if I didn't bring this up. apparently there was a segment where RVD was with.
Oh God! This is where they got kicked off of Twitch.
Yes. There was a segment with him, his girlfriend, and his girlfriend's girlfriend because they have an open relationship. Apparently, I didn't see it, but apparently it was.
It's worth seeing.
And apparently, it was enough for them to get, I guess, banned off of Twitch.
What?
Yeah. Not sure for how long, but we'll see what happens. Twitch has been really wishy-washy with sexual content here and there, but surely, like, come on. They gotta understand this is a TV show. TNA's Impact is trying to get, like, ratings here. Come on.
Oh man, how am I going to find this thing? It is still around on YouTube, I think. And it's really not that bad. But RVD plays a pretty great heel about having, living his best life. He's just doing a promo.
It.
He's like lying in bed with a robe on and just saying, "Hey, this is how I live. Don't get mad at me."
I think it's funny. Like that's hilarious. And if anything, Twitch needs to kind of lighten up on that type of stuff, in my opinion. But
yeah.
So apparently the next former or ex-superstar to come out of retirement for Saudi Arabia.
Oh no!
It's gonna be Kane.
That's gotta be Kane.
Kane.
Apparently, there's an advert going around airing and during WWE programming in Saudi Arabia that's advertising Super Showdown and the main event, The Fiend against Kane for the Universal title.
Yeah, so that they cannot see the fucking match under red light. That's terrific. Great. Awesome.
No, it's under red light because there's a good chance that Kane's going to lose his hair in the match.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Terrific. Unfortunately, Rocky Johnson died.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, sadly. The Rock had a pretty touching tribute on Instagram. And of course, WWE had a pretty well put together video piece, as always, whenever there's this type of situation coming up. I did not know much of Rocky Johnson's work, and seeing him team up with Tony Atlas on some of the B-roll footage that they produced was pretty cool. So, I'm not sure if there's any thoughts you guys would like to contribute to that.
I mean, it's just obviously very sad, and with the Hall of Fame, when Rock inducted him, it was quite interesting. I don't know if this was before they started showing the full Hall of Fames and whether it was the 1 hour like USA special that they used to do where they cut it all out. But they were talking about, obviously, at that period of time when Tony Atlas and Rocky Johnson was a tag team, it was during an era where it was, well, in today's world, it still seems like this, but, racism was a very big thing.
Yeah.
So it was quite interesting hearing the tales, and obviously, they managed to come through that particular system. And so, I can understand why, there was a lot of big thing about them being pioneers, and, it's sad news, obviously.
Yeah. That's just an unfortunate situation. Yeah, really not much else this week in terms of news. I'm just looking around. Apparently, also to go back to AEW for a second, apparently they got a contract extension through, was it 2023, I believe, or something like that?
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
Do you think it might be a little too soon for that, for a contract extension, or do you think TNT is just happy with what AEW's done so far?
I think it's a bit of security for AEW knowing that they've, they can put plans in place when they know that they've got a contract that's that's going to run that long. I think that helps for scheduling arenas and offering contracts to wrestlers, I suppose. So I don't think it's a bad thing at the start, because if you're starting something out, you've got to give a fair shot, and I think they know that even though we've got issues with the program, but it's not major issue. You know what I mean? We're talking about things that we'd like to see tweaked just to make sure that they're getting maximizing what product they can deliver. So I think overall they're fairly happy with, obviously, numbers that they're achieving and only see it growing. So I don't think it's a bad thing. They also they announced that they've signed Taz as well, haven't they?
Yeah. Taz did great on that one show we did.
Yeah, I was going to say, I really enjoyed his commentary on that show. It was nice, actually, hearing JR and Taz on the same team again, actually.
Yeah. I agree.
They've just got so many good announcers now.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of want Taz in there, but I don't want to lose Tony. And you can't lose Excalibur. He's the only one who knows anyone.
See, the reason as well, but exactly, Excalibur is so essential to it, because all he's doing is them plot points and backgrounds to people.
It's Luther!
We're saying.
Well, yeah, right.
It's the Butcher and the Blade!
He knows too many people. He knows people that we shouldn't know.
Yeah.
And the Bunny!
He knows names that haven't been given yet. But he calls the moves that the other guys would just... I don't know what they'd say. What would JR say?
Well, I always find... I love Tony Schiavone on it as well, because he's just become... He's gone from the WCW play-by-play guy to just being like a wrestling fan on the announce table.
Yeah.
It's like Excalibur does all the heavy lifting, JR like calls shit out, and then Tony's just like, this is great!
He seems to really enjoy having a job. It's great to hear someone actually just genuinely enjoy themselves.
Exactly, and that's that thing where you know that he's not got someone in his ear telling him to be enthusiastic and stuff.
Right,
it doesn't comes across genuine. Yeah.
Especially when somebody hit that Vader bomb and he was like, they call that the Vader bomb? And he was just like, he genuinely didn't know. And like him and the late Vader were like friends and such, and he thought it was really cool that somebody like named a move after him. Yeah, it was great. You're absolutely right by that, because it definitely seems like he's just there to just enjoy what he's seeing and whatnot, and contribute whatever he can, because he's been away from it for so many years and calling Georgia football and whatnot. So. Yeah.
But it's that genuine, and we say it, don't we? It's always the same in wrestling. Anything that's genuine, it talks to people. It's what you relate to. So straight away you can spot when someone's being genuine.
Yeah.
And it only helps you to, in the same way, enjoy the product in the same way that he is. When you've got two robots talking on an announce table like you have on WWE, you just switch off.
And it just makes everything feel just kind of dirty somehow. That Cole just his fake laugh, it kills everything about. Or shouting it's boss time. Even if I was interested, which it's really difficult to be, now I'm not, because everything feels so wrong somehow.
The worst was when Rock comes back and everyone has to laugh at his jokes. His jokes were terrible too. There's only so many ways you can say monkey's anus and still, it's just not that funny. And I saw there was something came up in my recommended feed. It was a WWE video of the 20 best returns of the last decade. And the first few were kind of surprise returns of various people. And there would always be, usually Cole, or at least one of the commentators, would just be listing down accolades of these guys that they were completely taken off guard. There's Sting, the 3-time NWA champion. No, stop doing this. You're ruining the moment.
Yeah.
Just say nothing. It would be better if you said nothing at all.
Yeah, because even like Shock Thing, how many times in the past did you have like a cliffhanger ending on Raw, and there'd be no commentary, nothing was said. It was like everyone's jaws was like dropped.
Yeah.
Whereas now, for a fact that that's never going to happen.
Stay tuned for Ride Along next on the network. Good night, everybody.
Yeah. Oh my God, CM Punk's come back, but don't forget backstage this week on Fox Sports. Oh God.
Speaking of backstage, Paige just sent out a tweet just now about a minute ago, saying, "So, we gotta get British Bulldog in the Hall of Fame this year, or and then at WWE." And there's a couple people replied with, "Who's that?"
No, you're supposed to reply with, "British Bulldog is going into the Hall of Fame whether he wants to or not."
They should get that kid to induct him.
They're saying, do you know why? Because he's bizarre.
Because he's bizarre.
Exactly.
Oh, that's great.
Did you see the sort of little mini backlash that Triple H got from the joke he made about Paige?
Oh yeah, he said something in like an interview, saying
he was
along the lines of
being interviewed on the for the Takeover show.
Yeah.
And someone asked him about Edge and Paige possibly coming back to wrestle.
Yeah.
And
Supposed to know about that.
What was that?
I can imagine Triple H kind of playing dumb, like, "Oh, what?
Yeah.
That's a thing."
Well, he was quite open to it. He was quite fair. He said, "Well, it's up to them, really, you know."
It was a really good interview up till the last bit.
Yeah. And then he basically turned around, and I've got the quote. So he said, "Edge has kids. Paige, maybe she probably has some she doesn't know about."
I listened to it. And I was like, I thought it was funny. I didn't think it was funny. I didn't think it was anything like that serious to issue an apology over, but apparently it was.
Well, he has to apologize.
He did. He apologized. Yeah.
Is there not in this though?
I would have thought Paige would have found that funny.
No. Is there not a thing, possibly, I might be wrong on this, where she is having trouble and she can't have children?
Oh, really?
I don't know. That was the kind of backlash vibe I got from it.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's come out since.
Right, okay. Because they were saying, like, obviously she struggled with mental health, and then it's a big thing for her. And
that's probably why.
Yeah.
She didn't know. I bet you. Okay.
Apparently he's contacted her directly and apologised and stuff. So I think everything's good again. But
that's all you can ask for. Because that's a funny joke.
That is a funny joke.
It's the kind of joke you make about a guy, but how can she have it? Right. Obviously, the practicality. That's a funny joke. Yeah, but circumstances, unfortunately, I guess he didn't know. So fine, you apologise. That's whatever.
That's it.
Yeah.
Best way to apologize: put British Bulldog in the Hall of Fame whether he wants to or not. There you go. There you go. Problem solved. And
just going back to that, the AEW being renewed again for however long it is.
Yeah.
Just because there's not enough wrestling at the moment. In that same press release, there was also they're going to get another second show.
Yeah. Another hour or something like that on TV. They might put AEW Dark on there, or
so Dark isn't dark anymore.
AEW Light. It just has like and
that's quite good because they can call it Light, LITE, and it's only an hour long, so it's a light version of Dynamite.
That would be the condensed, but yeah.
AEW, sign us! Come on, we got the big money.
I should be on their marketing team.
We could be the guys that tell them what to do, and we could be the grown-ups in the room. Just be like, no, that doesn't work.
No. We don't have to be the grown-ups. We could be the kids. They're just having fun. We're going to join in.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, sure. All right.
I don't know, though. I think light is kind of 90s, like the diet fad. Now it needs to be something like AEW gluten-free.
AEW stevia.
AEW Zero.
There you go.
Either way, I mean, sure. Why not?
Everything's sponsored by hummus.
Oh God. Oh my lord. Either way, I think that's going to be it for this week. We should be back next week for the Royal Rumble. We'll finally tally up those points from TLC from like a month ago in the old decade and whatnot. We'll be back, like I said, next week. I hope you're there to tune in some capacity. Have a great one, and take care, everybody. Good night.